Okay, Bio 2 students, I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to walk you through a couple of things that I hope will give you some sort of clarity. I'm getting a lot of emails about what's coming up and what you need to study for. So I'm going to make a short video here to try to explain. So first of all, if you look up here, I'm going to put up on the screen here a little Excel sheet I made that kind of has the schedule for the next couple of weeks, so that you know. Now, we've already done week 6 here. We're actually currently in week 7, and I think I've explained what's coming up. But let me try to clarify kind of how this is going to work a little bit more, because I think people are still confused. So right now, on week 6, the Monday of week 6 was March 30th. So the Monday of week 7 is April 6th. So these are all the Mondays. Okay. So in your particular case, if you want, think about your class being on Tuesday and Thursday. And if this is the Monday of that, you can just simply adjust the date for that. Okay. So I've divided this up into both lecture and lab, which you're used to. And then I've divided it up further into what you should be learning and what the test is on. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion lies. So for example, on week 6, we took that online exam number 1. By the way, I'm working on fixing some of the errors you sent me, and Canvas has a really neat function, it turns out, when I can go in and I go, oh, I messed up and I put the wrong answer. I can go, that's the wrong answer, and I can change it. And it asks me, should I update the student score or give it to them, or they're still wrong? Gives me some options. So it turns out I can add the points to all of your scores for ones you missed that you should have got right in Canvas, and it should be adjusting. There's still a couple of other issues with images, and I'm working on those. But on Thursday, we took exam number 1 online. Okay. Now, normally that's a lecture exam, but it turns out, this always drives me kind of nuts when something weird like this happens, but the problem there was normally we would have done that on Tuesday, but on that Tuesday, there was a holiday, so we couldn't give a test on Tuesday. So in that particular case, it was on Thursday, which you also have lectures on Thursday too, but it just kind of throws off what our scenario was. Now, on week 6, you are supposed to have learned in lecture what I posted for Unit 1A, right here, Plants 1A and 1B. So that's the lecture material. Those are on my website. And for lab, you should be learning Campus Plants 1 and the lab packet. And I'm just going to call it the lab packet beginning. So I made a little video on what you needed to know from the lab packet. The lab packets normally cover 2 or 3 weeks of material, and you have a practicum on them. Because we're moving to this online format, I'm breaking that up. So I'm guessing here, I can't remember right off the top of my head, I think it's pages 1 through 13, but I explained that. I put all the lab material there, but for week 6, you really only needed to learn that first part. And then what's going to happen is, I'm going to put my glasses on because I need to be able to see my pointer better because I can't see my pointer. So we're in week 7 right now, and you're going to be quizzed on plants 1A and 1B. That's happening, I believe, today. And then on Thursday, you're going to have another quiz. That'll be on Campus Plants 1A and the beginning of the lab packet. All right. Then going forward this week, again, Monday of April 6th, you're supposed to be learning Plants 2A and 2B, which I'll post. I have them almost done. I just have to edit them. I'll post those tonight. And then I already told you about the quiz. And then you also will need to learn Campus Plants 2 and the middle parts of the lab packet, which I'll explain. And then you're going to have a quiz Thursday on Campus Plans 1A in the beginning of the lab packet. So one way to think about it is, and hopefully this makes it very simple, is that each week I'm going to post things you need to learn, okay, for both lecture and lab. And for the lab, I'll probably post pretty much all of it in that beginning, and then I'll break it up because the lab packets and pictures already come in one big group. So I'll probably post all that in one spot, and then I'll tell you how we're going to break it down based on your quiz. But essentially, each week as we move forward, there are things that you need to learn, right, for both lecture and lab in 1 week. And then in the following week, you're going to take a quiz on that, and you'll have new things to learn. Okay, I'm going to update this as we go. So you notice here, I only went to week 9, but hopefully that gets you started on what I'm talking about. Okay, or clarifies it. So for example, it is week 7 right now. We're down here. Okay, but this is all the information that you're going to be tested on this week. So it's currently week 7, but what you should be studying and be tested on is the week 6 material. And then you'll have new things to be learning on week 7, which I'll test you on in week 8. And in week 8, you'll have new things to learn, which I'll test you and quiz you on week 9. And again, what I said was like for the lab packet stuff, and this is that lab intro I was telling you about, I'm going to post the whole thing there. So this is all of the lab, but you only need to learn for the quiz this week up to Moss's for lab. For lecture, I'm going to cover what I cover, and I'll post it here. Sometimes it'll be 1A, 1B, maybe 1C. Sometimes it'll, and so this is all you need to learn this week for the lecture. And what I'll post down here, once I get it done, where'd my pointer go? Where did you go, pointer? There we go. Anyway, what I'll post down here is lecture, plant lecture 2A and maybe 2B. I'm sort of deciding it as I go, and then I'll put what I'm calling right now the middle part of the packet, and I'll give you a page number once I've decided how far, but it'll essentially be the next part of the packet. And I'll put that information down here, and that is what you'll be quizzed on week 8. Okay, so hopefully that answers some of your questions and makes it a lot more clear in terms of what you need to learn and what you're going to be quizzed on as we move forward. Okay, the other thing I should point out, you'll see that I have lectures 1A and 1B here. I might end up doing 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D in the other PowerPoints that I do because it's really more the amount of time that I'm doing them. So I might make shorter videos depending on the topic, or I might make longer videos. But the idea is that each week I'm trying to deliver the amount of lecture content that you would get in a normal 2 days in a week. Okay, so the idea here of 1A and 1B, if we meet an hour and 20 minutes, that should end up being a total of 2 hours and 40 minutes of lecture. But you'll find, but I've known this for a long time, the speed at which I can lecture, even my stories, is usually 2 or 3 times faster. So although my videos might be 30 minutes or 20 minutes, at the end of the day, even though I've done 1 hour of video, it really covers like 3 hours of content because you can't stop and ask questions and I can blast through and say things once. Okay. The next thing I'll say, just really quick, many of you have suggestions or comments, and I want to encourage you to keep, if you see something or it's confusing, feel free to ask or make suggestions on what you think might work better. I'm going to tell you as a disclaimer in the very beginning, there's a certain part to teaching online and certain regulations and certain ways the lab is structured and built, that many times, although your suggestions are really good, they don't really work for the flow, for the curriculum, and for how I'm used to teaching online. So please feel free to offer me your suggestions and your comments, and please don't take it personally if for many of them I go, well, no, I'm not going to do that, and here's why. We're finding more and more all across campus that there are ways people are doing things that aren't quite, they don't quite work sometimes, and that is for people that aren't used to teaching online. In my case, I am. So although you might have really good suggestions, and I might say, no, I can't do that, please feel free to keep offering your suggestions, but know that if I tell you, no, I can't do it, or no, I'm not going to do it, and this is why, don't take it personally. It's just that I'm trying to deliver the best product for the entire class and also meet all the regulations required for the course outline, which is a lot harder to do. Most students usually aren't aware of the course outline part. So that creates new challenges, and that's why I sometimes do things the way I do. Also, I'm getting a ton of emails in a day. I typically get something like 20, 30, 40 emails a day, and now I'm getting 100 or 200 emails a day. So normally I like to start an email by saying, hi, how are you doing? This is what you've got coming up, and I'm sorry about this and that. But I'm being very short in some of my emails and just answering your questions, which is not something I typically like to do. But because of the number of emails, the response time sometimes is slow. And I'm finding that I'm being very blunt with my emails and just saying yes and no. I apologize if it comes off as a bit harsh, but I'm trying to get through as many things and trying to help as many people as I can quickly. So hope that helps you, and let's keep moving on.